The night begins quietly. There is no clear moment when day becomes darkness here. No sudden shift. No line you can point to. Only a slow fading. The last traces of light stretch thin across the horizon, like pale silver brushed gently over the distant mountains. You stand at the edge of the fjord, where the land gives way to water, so still it seems to hold the sky in place. The air is cool, not sharp, not biting, but steady, present. It settles softly against your skin, carrying with it the scent of salt, wet wood, and something older. Something carried through generations of nights just like this. Behind you, the village has already grown quiet. The longhouses rest in shadow, their shapes softened by darkness. A few faint glows remain, small fires, low and patient, breathing gently through narrow openings in the wood. No voices reach you now, only the distant crackle of fire and the slow, endless rhythm of water touching the shore. You have done this many times before, and still, every night feels slightly different. Your boat waits where you left it, a narrow wooden vessel, resting half in the water, half on damp stones. It does not stand out. There is no decoration, no carving meant to impress, only function, only use. The wood is worn smooth in places where hands have gripped it for years, yours among them. You step closer, your boots pressing softly into the earth, each movement unhurried, familiar. There is no need to rush. The sea is patient. It does not demand. It waits. You crouch beside the boat and run your hand along its edge. The wood is cool beneath your fingers, slightly damp from the evening air. Solid, reliable. You check what needs to be checked, not because you expect something to be wrong, but because the rhythm of doing so matters. The net is where it should be, coiled carefully, untangled, ready. The small lantern one rests near the bow, its flame not yet lit. There is a quiet comfort in these small confirmations. Everything in its place. Everything as it should be. Far above you, the first stars begin to appear. Not all at once. One, then another, then more, scattered gently across the sky. They do not demand attention. They simply exist. Steady. Distant. Unchanging. You pause for a moment and look up. There is no thought attached to it, no question, just the quiet act of noticing. The water shifts slightly, a small movement, barely more than a ripple. It catches the reflection of the sky and breaks it into fragments of light. Then it settles again, still, calm, endless. You reach for the lantern. The flame comes to life slowly, a soft glow growing within the small enclosure. It does not push back the darkness. It only creates a small space within it, a circle of warmth, a place to see your hands. Nothing more is needed. With practiced motion, you guide the boat fully into the water. There is a soft sound as wood meets the surface, a gentle shift, a quiet acceptance. You step in carefully, balancing without effort. Your body remembers this. It always has. For a moment, you do nothing. You let the boat settle beneath you. You feel the way it rests on the water, the subtle movement, the slight sway that never fully disappears. This is where the night truly begins. Not on land, not in preparation, but here, in this quiet separation from the shore. You push away, slowly. The distance between you and the land grows without resistance. No sudden motion, no urgency, only a gradual release. The village fades behind you. Its shapes become softer, less defined. The small lights grow dimmer until they are no longer separate points, but part of the darkness itself. Ahead, there is only water and the sky and the quiet space between them. The sound of the oar entering the water is soft, steady. Dip, pull, lift. Again. Dip, pull, lift. Each movement is the same. Each movement matters. Time moves differently here. There are no markers, no clocks, no measure beyond the rhythm you create. And so, you do not think about time. You simply move through it. The fjord opens slowly around you. The mountains rise on either side, dark and steady, their shapes barely visible against the sky. They do not feel distant. They feel present, watching, not with intent, but with quiet permanence. They have seen countless nights like this, countless fishermen moving through the same waters. You are not the first. You will not be the last. The lantern flickers gently. Its light touches the surface of the water, creating a small reflection that follows you as you move. It does not lead. It does not guide. It simply remains. The air grows slightly cooler as you move further from the shore. You notice it not as discomfort, but as a shift, a reminder of where you are. Somewhere in the distance, a bird calls. The sound carries across the water and fades just as slowly as it arrived. There is no reply, only silence again. You continue, steady, unhurried. There is no destination you need to reach, only a place that feels right. And you will know it when you arrive. The water beneath you deepens. Its color darkens. Its surface becomes even more still, as if you have entered a different part of the night. You slow your movement. The oar rests for a moment. The boat drifts. And in that stillness, the world feels even quieter than before. This is where you stop. Not because you decided it earlier, but because something in the water, in the air, in the silence, feels complete. You let the oar rest, and for a moment, you simply sit, surrounded by night, held gently between sky and sea. For a while, you do nothing. The boat drifts gently beneath you, carried by movements too small to see, too quiet to hear. The lantern glows beside you, its light steady now, no longer flickering with uncertainty. It has found its rhythm, as you have. Your hands rest lightly on your knees. There is no tension in them, no urgency waiting to be released, only stillness. The surface of the water stretches outward in every direction, unbroken, undisturbed. It reflects the sky so clearly that the line between above and below begins to fade. Stars rest beneath you. The sky surrounds you, and for a moment, it feels as though you are suspended somewhere in between. You reach for the net, not quickly, not with intent to begin something, but simply because it is time. The rope is familiar in your hands, rough in places, softened in others. It carries the memory of use, of repetition, of countless nights shaped just like this one. And you begin to gather it, slowly, carefully, each movement measured, not because it must be, but because it has always been done this way. There is no benefit in rushing, no gain in speed. only the quiet satisfaction of doing something as it has always been done. The net unfolds, not all at once, but in sections, layer by layer. A soft, almost weightless sound as it shifts against itself. You pause for a moment and let part of it rest in your hands. There is a certain calm in this simple act, holding something that has purpose, something that will soon disappear beneath the surface and become part of the unseen world below. The water waits, unmoving, unchanged. You begin. With a slow motion, you cast the net outward. It leaves your hands without resistance, expanding gently through the air, its shape opening, widening, before settling onto the surface of the water. There is no splash, only a soft contact, a quiet merging. The net rests there for a moment, barely visible in the dim light, its edges defined only by the way it interrupts the reflection of the stars. Then it begins to sink, slowly, almost reluctantly, drawn downward into the darker layers beneath. You release the last length of rope, letting it slip through your fingers with a controlled ease. And then you stop. There is nothing more to do, not yet. The work, for now, is complete. And so, you return to stillness. Your hands come to rest once more. Your body settles into the gentle rhythm of the boat, a movement so subtle it becomes almost impossible to separate from your own breathing. Inhale, a slight rise. Exhale, a soft return. The two rhythms begin to match. Not perfectly, but closely enough that one begins to echo the other. The air feels different here, further from the shore, more open, less held by the land. There is a quiet depth to it, a clarity. Each breath carries a coolness that lingers just long enough to be noticed, before fading into warmth again. You look down at the water, at the place where the net disappeared. There is nothing to see, no sign of movement, no indication of what may or may not be happening below. And yet, you do not feel the need to check. There is a trust in this, an understanding that some things unfold without being watched, without being measured. Time passes, but it does not feel like time. There are no thoughts counting it, no awareness marking its progress, only the slow unfolding of moments that do not need to be named. The mountains remain where they are, unchanged, silent. The stars above you have multiplied, their number growing without notice, filling the sky in quiet layers. The lantern continues its soft glow, a small, steady presence. Somewhere beneath the surface, the net rests, invisible now, part of a world you do not see. And that is enough. A faint sound reaches you, so quiet you are not certain at first if it is real. A distant shift in the water, a subtle change. You do not react, not immediately. Instead, you listen. The sound does not repeat, or perhaps it does, but in such a gentle way that it becomes part of everything else. You remain still. There is no need to act, no need to interpret. Only to be present. Your gaze lifts again to the horizon, though there is little to see there now, only darkness layered over distance. And yet, it feels full. Not empty, not lacking, complete. The boat continues its slow drift, held in place not by force, but by balance. You reach out gently and rest your hand against its edge. The wood is colder now. The night has settled deeper. You can feel the slight vibration of water moving against it, a constant, quiet interaction between surface and structure. It reminds you that nothing here is truly still. Everything moves, even in silence. You close your eyes for a moment, not to sleep, not to withdraw, but simply to feel more fully what is already there. The air, the movement, the quiet. There is nothing missing, and nothing that needs to be added. Freedom. When you open your eyes again, nothing has changed. And that too feels right. For a long while, nothing changes. The night remains as it was. Wide, quiet, undisturbed, and yet, slowly, almost imperceptibly, something begins to shift. It is not a sound at first, and not something you hear clearly, but something you feel. A faint pull, subtle, deep beneath the surface. Your hand moves slightly toward the rope, not quickly, not with urgency, just enough to acknowledge what is already there. The line is still, at first, resting lightly where it disappears into the water. Then again, that same gentle tension, barely there, but present. You wrap the rope once around your hand, not tightly, just enough to feel it more clearly. The sensation travels upward from the unseen depth, muted, distant, as though whatever moves below belongs to another world entirely. You wait. There is no need to act immediately, no need to respond at once. The sea does not rush, and neither do you. Another moment passes, then another. The pull becomes slightly more defined, still not strong, but certain. You begin to draw the rope in. Slowly. The movement is steady, measured, each motion flowing into the next. Pull, pause, pull, pause. The rope slides through your hands with a familiar texture. Damp now, cooler than before. Water drips softly back into the sea, a quiet, rhythmic sound that blends with everything else. You do not look down immediately. There is no need to see yet. You feel. You listen. The weight shifts as you pull, not constant, not predictable. At times, it feels almost weightless, as though the net has caught nothing at all. And then a slight resistance, a deeper pull, not forceful, not sudden, just enough to remind you that something moves below. You continue, unhurried. And the boat responds subtly to your motion. A small shift in balance. A gentle adjustment. But it remains steady. It always does. More rope gathers at your feet, coiling naturally, returning to where it began. The rhythm becomes familiar again. Pull, pause, pull, pause. Time slips quietly between each movement. You notice your breathing once more, how it aligns with the motion. Inhale, as your hands prepare. Exhale, as the rope comes in. There is no effort in matching them. It simply happens. The surface of the water begins to change. At first, only slightly. A small disturbance, barely visible in the dim light. Then a widening ripple. The place where the net rests begins to reveal itself. Not clearly, not all at once. But enough to suggest its return. You continue pulling. The weight becomes more present now, still controlled, still calm, but undeniable. Pressure gathers along the line, droplets catching the lantern light before falling back into darkness. The net begins to emerge. First as shadow, then as shape. A faint outline just beneath the surface, moving upward. You slow your motion slightly. Not from strain, but from awareness. The moment of return is always quieter than the moment of release. The net breaks the surface, not with force, not with sound, but with a soft, steady rise. Water flows from it immediately. Thin streams returning downward, the shape becomes clearer. You do not rush to examine it. You do not search for what it holds. That is not the purpose of this moment. Instead, you continue the same rhythm. Pull, pause, pull, pause. The net gathers closer. Its full weight now rests between your hands and the boat. And whatever it carries remains secondary. There is no excitement here, no surge of anticipation, only completion, the simple continuation of something that began earlier in the night. The last length of rope comes in. You guide the net over the side of the boat. It settles with a soft sound, heavy, but not overwhelming. A water pools briefly beneath it before finding its way back into the sea. For a moment, your hands remain where they are, resting lightly on the net, feeling its presence, not evaluating, not measuring, just acknowledging. The work is done. And yet, there is no sense of ending. Only transition. The night remains unchanged, Sure, the mountains still stand in silence. The stars still rest above and below. The lantern continues its quiet glow. And you remain exactly where you are, between movement and stillness, yet holding something that came from the unseen and returned just as quietly. Yet you sit back slowly, letting your hands come to rest once more. And there is no need to hurry forward, no next task waiting. Only this moment, and the quiet understanding that it is enough. Perfect. Let's bring it home slowly. But for a while, you remain where you are. The net rests beside you. The rope lies still at your feet. Nothing moves that needs your attention. Oh, the night has deepened, not in a way that can be measured, but in a way that can be felt. The air is cooler now, softer, more settled. The lantern's glow feels warmer against it, a small contrast in a world that has grown almost entirely still. You do not rush to leave. There is no signal that tells you it is time. So you're sure. And yet, slowly, something shifts. Not outside, but within. A quiet readiness. Not to begin something new, but to return. As your hand reaches for the oar again, the movement is familiar, unforced. For a moment, you hold it there, resting lightly across your lap, as if allowing the body to remember before asking it to move. Then, gently, you place it into the water. The first movement is slower than before, more deliberate. A soft dip, a quiet pull. The water parts without resistance. You begin again. Dip, pull, lift. The rhythm returns easily, as if it had only been waiting. The boat responds, turning slowly. There is no clear direction at first, only a gradual shift. But soon, the outline of the land begins to form again, not sharply, not fully, just a darker shape against the horizon. You do not focus on it, not yet. Instead, you follow the motion, the repetition. Dip, pull, lift. Each movement slower now, more spaced. There is no distance to cover, no time to reach. Only the act itself. The water remains calm, undisturbed. Kaspash. Your passage leaves no lasting mark, no trail. Until its achievement that fades almost immediately behind you. The mountains remain where they were, silent, unchanged. But they feel different now. Not because they have moved, but because you have. The distance between you and the shore begins to close. Gradually, quietly. The faint glow of the village returns. Small points of light, barely visible at first, then slightly clearer. They do not draw you in, they do not call, they simply exist as they did before. The air shifts again, a subtle change. Warmer, more familiar. Carrying with it the scent of wood smoke, of earth, of something grounded. You notice it without thought, without attaching meaning. Just another quiet detail in a night full of them. Your movements slow further. Dip, pull, pause. Longer pauses now. The need for motion fades. Darko. The boat begins to carry itself, gliding gently on the surface that has held you all this time. You allow it. There is no need to continue at the same pace. No need to maintain rhythm once it has already done its work. The shore is closer now, the shapes more defined. You can make out the edges of the land, the place where water meets stone. But even now, you do not rush toward it. You let the final distance unfold as slowly as the rest of the night. The oar lifts from the water. And this time, it does not return. It rests across the boat. And you drift. The last moments are the quietest. No movement, no effort. Only the soft contact between water and wood. A gentle reminder that you are still here. Still held between two worlds. The boat touches the shore, so softly it almost goes unnoticed. A slight shift, a quiet stop. You remain seated for a moment longer. There is no urgency to stand, no need to complete the return. Yes, because in a way, nothing ever truly left. You step out slowly. The ground feels steady beneath your feet, different from the water, but not unfamiliar. You pull the boat slightly higher onto the shore, just enough. A simple action, one that requires no thought. The lantern still glows. You reach for it. Pause. Then gently extinguish the flame. The darkness returns fully. But it does not feel empty. The sky remains. The stars unchanged. The village rests quietly behind you. And the sea continues as it always has. You take a few slow steps away from the shore. There is nothing to carry with you except the quiet that has settled inside. No thoughts pressing forward. No need to reflect. Only a sense of completion. Not an ending, but a soft closing. As you move further from the water, the sounds begin to fade. The gentle movement of the sea, the distant calls, all becoming quieter. more distant, until they blend into something almost indistinguishable from silence. You do not turn back. There is no need. Because the night remains exactly where it belongs. And so do you. The darkness deepens, not as something to fear, but as something to rest within. And slowly, without effort, without intention, everything becomes still. Even the movement of thought, even the sense of time, until there is nothing left to follow, nothing left to do. Only quiet, only rest.